Hello, my friends. Today we're actually in my dining room. I'm Alexandra, or as my students like to call me, I'm Miss E. Listen, I did not prepare for this, so I don't have all of my materials, and it made me think you might not either. So today we're going to actually do some artwork that has to do with a lot of things. We're going to be able to take household items and we're going to create a gorgeous work of art. Now, I heard that some people did this project and some of your grown-ups sent me the pictures, and that was my favorite part of yesterday, so I hope you'll do the same thing today. Today, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite artists. She's 92 years old. She's 92 years old, and her name is Yayoi Kusama. I don't have my book about her, but I have my bookmark. Yeah, we went to a museum and we bought this. You know what else I bought? I bought these socks. Let me show you how stretchy I am. Can you stretch like that? Yeah. Oh, I have two. Do you want to see? Yeah, no joke. Woo! Today's a good day to stretch. Yayoi Kusama is known as the Princess of Polka-Dots, okay? So she is famous because she loves polka dots. If you are one of my 5th grade students, we did this last week, right? So here's what I was thinking. I thought it would be fun to try to find some things around your house to create. So I got a piece of paper. I hope you have a piece of paper. You can always use the back of some notice or something. I guarantee your family has some paper. And I want you to go around your house and I want you to find things that are polka dots. So I found a lip gloss, a baby bottle. I told you I have kids, so, right? And things like this. Oh, and you know what I know you guys have, and if you don't, please seriously message me. I'm not joking. Canned food. But you even have different sizes. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move this down and I'm gonna show you. And I want you to try to do the same thing. So this is hard, but this is called tracing. And some of you know how to do it, okay? I want you to take any material and I want you to try it out. I'm feeling incredibly purpley today. So I'm going to start by tracing. And I'm gonna hold it with one hand and then the other hand, oh, you might even have to turn the paper. I'm going to trace. So I'm making a dot. Now, I don't do perfect. That makes me very uncomfortable and nervous. So I'm just gonna sort of roll with it. And if you're not feeling like a circly person, then you shouldn't do it. Ooh, coconut milk. What am I gonna make with that, friends? I don't know. So I always say perfect schmerfect, I don't do perfect. In fact, if you do not like what we're doing today, do it your own way. Because I'm just some random lady who's giving you a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber? I don't know. It's like, the thing about Yayoi Kusama and why I chose her today is she is somebody who has big feelings. Do you have big feelings? I definitely have big feelings this week. Definitely. And you know what I know helps with big feelings? Art. It's the most helpful thing we could do. So I want you to think about how you could make circle art, but maybe you are somebody who doesn't like circles and you don't want to do circles. Find something in your house that's maybe a triangle. And maybe, and this was so cool because I saw some students who sent me their pictures. Are you one of them? Are you one of my cookie faces? That's what I call my students. Who overlapped. Do you know about overlapping? I am taking this and I'm going right on top. Okay. So this is very, very simple, but this could take a long time. Now, in each little space, I'm going to create a different design. Some of my older students know this as a Zentangle, right? So that's a good time. You could keep on tracing with lots of different little materials, or, and here's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing some of your grown-ups have a lot of packages that have been arriving, if you're lucky, again, I don't know. I like to cut up this bubble wrap and I like to paint it. So maybe you have some paint and then you can do that. Okay, so there's lots of choices in this video. And then you press it down and you have some really fun texture. Or maybe you're somebody who really wants to make your polka dots like the Princess of Polka-Dots. You wanna make an actual polka dot. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to take my brush. You have a lot of choices here. You could, I like to like stomp, and then I like to swirl it around, almost like a little bit of a compass. I know I haven't shown you yet, but you can sort of see. It's not perfect, but it's fun. I also like to go like this and make little baby, itty, tiny, tiny little ones. And actually this one's really cool because it's sort of turning out to have this like amazing texture. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Not obsessed with my artwork yet. Not really feeling it, but so far, it's okay. I'm just doing my best. And to be honest, I don't even know if I care what it looks like. At this point, I just really am in the mood to make art because art makes me feel happy. I hope it does for you too. So now I'm gonna do just kind of like a big sweep across the page. This blue one I call a sweep. And then I'm gonna teach you something that some of my students also know is very unexpected, but I think if you have paint in your house, it's worth a try, which is taking the back of your brush, dipping it in some paint, and making little dots like this. Fun. So far my art is looking a little different than I expected, but yesterday we talked about how art always looks a little different and that's okay. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go back in with, maybe you don't have a lot of materials at your house and that's fine, but maybe I'll just go in with a pencil. Maybe I'll just draw, just because it's fun, okay? Now, if you're somebody who's like, I don't even know what I'm thinking about, who's this woman? Her name is Yayoi Kusama, the Princess of Polka-Dots. The thing about her is that she started making polka dots because she actually had some big feelings. And when she had her big feelings, she looked down in her Japanese garden where she lived, and she saw stones, and they relaxed her. So circles make me really happy too. And tracing can be really fun. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm curious what your circle art is going to look like. Maybe you can even find a grown-up who will show you what Yayoi Kusama's artwork looks like, because my book is at my school and I totally did not know what was going to happen. And here we are. And now we're friends. How great is that? Okay, for friends who are willing to stick around, I would like to read you an amazing book, which I'm sure some of you have heard. And if you haven't, this is our moment. It's called The Dot. And this is the perfect book for Yayoi Kusama's work because she loves dots. She's the Princess of Polka-Dots. It's by Peter Reynolds. Do you know what? He lives really close to the town where I live. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Vashti's paper leaned over her blank. Vashti's teacher, oopsies. Everybody makes mistakes, huh? Leaned over her blank paper and said, a polar bear in a snowstorm. Very funny, said Vashti. I just can't draw. Her teacher smiled. Just make a mark and see where it takes you. And that's exactly what I want you to do today. Just make a mark. Actually, kind of want your grown-ups to do that too. Just make a mark. See where it takes you. Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a big, strong jab. There, she said. Her teacher picked up her paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, now sign it. And Vashti thought for a moment, well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name. Maybe you know how to sign your name already, and maybe you don't, and that's okay too. The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. Do you see? It was the little dot. She had drawn her dot all framed in swirly gold. I can make a better dot than that, she said. And she opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and she set to work. So if you do have paints, watercolors, you're a lucky ducky. But if you don't, there are lots of other things. Ask your grown-up for a pen. You know, maybe they feel more comfortable with you using something that's just like a crayon. But definitely find something fun to draw with, paint with. Vashti painted and painted a yellow dot, a green dot, a red dot, a blue dot. The blue mixed with yellow. Do you know what happens? If you don't know what happens, this is a very important thing you need to know. Yellow and blue, and she discovered she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many different colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on a bigger paper to make bigger dots. Now this one is one of my favorites because look, check this out. Okay, look, it says Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. Okay, so we call that the negative space. In fact, my little friends from my school, even my big friends, know we call that a background space is a negative space. A background space is a negative space. So let's try it right now really quickly. I know, we're in the middle of a story. Who is this cuckoo bird? It's your new friend. So I'm gonna make a dot, but instead of coloring it in, I'm gonna paint around it. And you know what's cool about my brush? It has, ooh, am I allowed to go off the edge? Yes, in my classroom, we call that bleeding off the page. Does your art teacher call it that? Am I your art teacher? So I love that because it's sort of like creating. And for my older friends, I think there's a lot of value in like really practicing that technique. I think it can be really fun. All right, back to our story. At the school art show, does your school have an art show? You can come to mine, maybe, some way, someday. At the school art show, a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite the splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw, he said. I bet you can, said Vashti. Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. You have any grown-ups say that? How does that make you an artist? Right? I don't really get that. You can't draw a straight line with a ruler. Who needs a straight line? Who cares? Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. Show me. And the boy's pencil shook as he drew the line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle. And then she said, please, sign it. The dot is such a classic, awesome story. I want you to think about how much we just created together in this one picture. And I'm gonna show you my beautiful picture when I have a little more time to hang out with my own daughters. And look, I'll just keep finding objects around the house and playing. And I want you to do the same thing with, of course, checking in with your grown-ups and just see what happens. I invite you to think about how you can really play with this. Like, look, there's so much you can do. Okay, make sure to ask your grown-up for what you're allowed to use. And there are so many different materials that you can do to make a beautiful work of what we call abstract art. I want you to think about all the different ways. Maybe you will be the Princess of Polka-Dots. Maybe you will be the King of the Triangles. Send me a message. Show me what you made. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to give you a little one more. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.